right, welcome back to About Even, the world's #1 punting show. Skeleton Crew week here. Tom and Eddie missing. I'm going to be your host, Sebbo. I've got no idea what I'm doing. But I'd like to introduce Rue and Rando, who's taken a little step up here. How are you, boys?
Mate, you've hit the ground running.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought I was going to do the Sandy Lyle. But then I just went into host mode, and now that's out of the way. But first things first, nearly forgot, did do a Sandy Lyle there. Neds, want to thank Neds. We love Neds. A few good slips getting around on Neds. Neds allow us to do this show, so we thank you and we love you, Neds. Now, how are you, boys?
Mate, I think he's too hot to be up here just quietly.
It's very bright here. It's very bright.
He's
like
looking
in
the
the
good
corner
stuff.
there, it's so dark, but here it's bright. You can't miss anything, can
Yeah.
you? It's scary.
Yeah, it is scary. He is too hot. He's kind of like a Ross/Joey hybrid from Friends. But Rando's on the big desk today. He's still going to be spitting out the stats, the computer stuff, the entity sort of stuff. But we thought we'd bring him in because we're Skeleton Crew, Tom and Eddie on holiday. And Tobler's also going to be the lippy dribbler, just to make it a little bit more in-house this week as we try find some value. Now, should we jump into it, or you guys got anything left to say? How's your weekend?
I will say I'm not looking forward to accountability in any way, shape, or form.
We know that. We know that.
I wish there was two other fucking losers here with me to sit next to you, because this is going to be tough.
Yeah, it's going to be real tough. But hey, maybe you won't get as much shit, but I'll try fill the boots of Tom and Eddie and just be a meanie bum.
I was going to say a big shout out to the Blacklist board. Got more tips than most people on this desk last week.
As we say, bread. If you recognise a breadcrumb, it's not a breadcrumb, right? Breadcrumbs are all around this show. No bigger breadcrumb has been than the Blacklist. Ramian didn't play. The other three score. KKP, he was paying about $7.70. Hamole probably about $3. Jenkins probably about $2.50. That would have been a $50 bet. Around there would have been an immortal bet. I hope someone got on it. If they did, let us know in the comments. But there's an immortal breadcrumb for you. But look, let's just jump into a bit of accountability. It's going to be a big week for some and a terrible week for others. We got a bit to get through though, because we had Origin on as well. So New South Wales pumped Queensland 18-6. The scoreboard kind of flat as Queensland there. We had our multis. Tom, New South Wales 13 plus, Lomax Trell, got a Lomax. Eddie, New South Wales 13 plus, Lomax. I mean, these 13 pluses are technically a bit of a bad beat. Me, 13 plus. I had the under, bring my own line, New South Wales plus 9.5. Again, 13 plus, a bit of a bad beat. Rue, Trell, and had the didn't score New South Wales line. So none of us got up on the multi.
A great night, but no winning tickets.
Yeah, I mean, 3 out of 4 of us would if like, the ball wasn't tampered with. Did they get to the bottom of that, or is it just everyone had an off night with the kick-in?
I was talking to the great Jamie Soward on the show the other day, and he reckons that when he was playing, like, you'd have your ball that you'd use every week, right? But then, like, Heritage Round would come along, and it'd be a brown football.
Yeah.
He reckons he could feel the difference in it 100%. He reckons there was one game, I think it was Women in League Round, they brought out a pink football, and he's like, I can kick the shit out of this thing. It's going to absolutely fly. And he said that with the Origin balls, what he said when he went to Origin is that because it's maroon and blue at either end, changes it a little bit.
Fucking hell. That's
So whether that's reading into it too much, I'm obviously not, in touch with the football as much as some, but there must be something in it.
Joe in the commentary box saying it sounded different. It's crazy.
I heard that.
Absolutely crazy. That's how at one with the ball he is.
I mean, I just, again, feel sorry for any New South Wales 13-plus punters out there. First try scorer, none of us hit. Trell, Bobby Toyer, Hammer, Trell again. Man of the match, shout out to Rando, who did try push people into Haas. What was he, 21?
21s, yeah.
21.
Congratulations to those who got on.
Yeah, we all took the kind of half and 5/8 avenue, but Haas, I mean, I saw that happen, and I was like, just put it in a unit scoop at $21 for, like, essentially the best player in the game. Like, he is. Like, I get Cleary's the playmaker, but in terms of someone who just rips in and can get a man of the match, Haas. So well done, Rando. Did you get it on yourself?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I reckon if that game would have gone 13 plus, I reckon it potentially goes in a different direction.
I thought Zach Lomax
just because it was 1-12 and it was a bit
Yeah.
tight. I think they sort of looked to a forward at that point.
Yeah.
But I reckon if they kicked all those goals and New South Wales win by 20 or so, me personally as a Mitch Moses guy, I think I could have been in trouble.
Yeah, I see your point. That's a fair point. Triples.
Fuck.
Triples. Tom gets up with Zachy Lomax. He went over pretty early, didn't he?
Yep, first try.
First try. Eddie and Roo go Trell. And they brought it upon themselves. I wanted to join them, and they kicked me out of the boat. Titanic sort of vibes. Not enough room for you. Go away. Really bad vibes. So Trell doesn't go over, and I stick with my New South Wales line -3.5. Pretty much was confident of that after about 20 minutes. So me and Tom get the triples there. And that is the end of Origin and the beginning of Roo's downward spiral. And the unit scooper, sorry. None of us really got close. There's a lot of kind of Trells in there, and Trell doesn't go over. We don't need to go through every single leg there. All right, that's Origin. Moving in to bye-round footy. Dragons defeat Knights 20-6. Guru.
Upward spiral.
Upward spiral.
Yeah.
Gutho.
We'll enjoy it whilst we're up. I was at the Newmarket Hotel where I remain undefeated when it comes to betting. But yeah, that was... it was a high for a moment, mate, but then it all came crashing down.
Yeah, look,
pretty fucking quickly.
To get a Clint's not a bad bang. I took the unders as well, so not as impressive. But Lippy. Now, Lippy got KPP. A lot of people are trying to call it maybe an immortal bet. I'm open to discussion. Obviously, we have to have the other panel members here, but it's probably one of the best individual ATS wrangles I've seen. It's hard to put it to immortal, but it's fucking close, considering the history of KPP.
What annoys me is that I've missed out on numerous immortal bets because I lack narrative, which is fair. I've done the narrative for the living here accidentally, which shits me to no end.
Yeah, it's a poker machine bet. One of the best ones. No other bets go there. Storm 28, Titans 16. Tommy Burms. Storm 13 plus triples. I didn't catch the end of the game. Can someone film it? Like, I know what happened, but I didn't actually see it. I was out in Orange on a vineyard trying to watch it on the side of my body like that.
I'll tell you, he lost this bet 24 hours before this when Harry Grant was ruled out.
Yeah.
As soon as Grant was ruled out, I thought, oh, that one's going to be in a little bit of trouble here.
Tell you what, shout out to Ryan Pappenhausen. Must be a listener of the show because he went for that late field goal to try and make it 13 plus for the punters.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, and how close was he in the field goal? I didn't see.
I didn't see either, but
wasn't a great shot.
He missed it. Is the end game? Yeah.
That kind of sank Tommy there. Look, none of us get up in any other legs. I had Storm -19.5. Eddie, Carney P, Katoa, Guru, Katoa first, second, third. But Lippy. Another breadcrumb. I think we shat on this bet the most out of all of his. Shout out to Van Helsing. He got Titans to score 11 to 20 points and Storm to score 21 to 30 points, 648. Wow. Another great bet by the Lippy. We called it kind of confusing and stuff, but I actually, in hindsight, obviously, 2020, I really like the bet.
I stand by a 648 shit for it.
Yeah.
I think you need more, but I can't win shit.
If it hits, it hits.
So credit to you.
All right, Cows, Tigers. Cows defeat them 32 to 28. Tommy Burms, again, with probably the most Tommy Burms bet of all time. I feel he's got to tap into this a little bit more. He went Heath Mason. He kind of owned his fuck up of having Heath in his flex and then just went on Heath when he gets back in the side. He gets him at 480. Pretty impressive. So shout out Tommy Burms. I'll pay that. Eddie, Tigers 13 plus. I got a Scotty drink until Tigers plus 9.5. Thought that wasn't going to hit until the Tigers somehow scored like 20 points in the last 20 minutes. Guru had like a 20-leg multi. Half of them got up. Lippy, nothing going on there. Manly defeat Broncos 34-6. Eddie gets up. Under 47.5 into a Cola. That's the only one there. Tommy Burms is a Stags off. I was shit. Roo was shit. Lippy got the Hamole, the blacklist guy, but didn't get the Manly one to 12. Warriors 36, Rabbitohs 30. Great game here to watch, even though the Rabbitohs lost. Tom was a bunny short. That could have happened. Eddie gets either team less than 10.5 into an AJ. I get the world's easiest bet, AJ and RTS to combine for 2 tries. What, they score 5 between them? World's easiest bet. World's easiest bet. Guru gets another one. A Berry into a Wales 1 to 12. That would have been a tough watch, though, because it looked like they were going to run away with it there for a little bit.
Yeah, and look, we'll talk about it in a second, but getting that bet sort of filled me with a bit of false confidence heading into the last game, which I also shit the bet on. So. Yeah.
Panthers 18, Eels 10. I'm the only one that hits again. Joshy Carr, I talked about how the Jays were shorted. There was some sort of weird thing going on where everyone who started with the Jays scored the week before. Joshy Carr didn't. It's an easy bet the next week. You take Joshy Carr. Considering the Eels only scored 2 tries, I was bang on in terms of the omenry. The Mystics there, 210, I'll take that. Everyone else, nothing really. Most people are low max short. Wait a second, let's not skip past Roo.
Yeah, and the chat about the Jays when Jenkins scored, my logic all week was he's not going to jump over Lomax. He didn't. Casey McLean's not going to pass him the ball. He didn't.
Yep.
He kicked him the fucking ball. And I had that, your dribble about Jays ringing in my head for the rest of the game.
No, it's a clear little sign there.
I captained Lomax in Classic Draft and had that bet. Really fucked up my weekend.
Lomax to score more tries than Jenkins tripled.
I think it's a bad loss, not a bad bet, to be honest with you, boys.
Yeah, I tend to if you just stand out Lomax at 210, you take away that threat of Jenkins. But I get it because I've never actually watched.
He was on the fucking board. Yeah. He was on the board for a reason.
I know. Yeah, look, that's a tough beat and. Yeah, tough week for Roo. Last game, Raiders, Roosters, tight one here, 26-24. Raiders get up. A lot of people had Marky Mark, and he went over, in the first, minute or something? Not minute, but pretty much. And then so people had the Roosters line, Roo and Tom. That doesn't get up. I had the unders. That doesn't get up, but I didn't give a shit because my unit scooper did. We'll get to that in a second. So no one gets up there.
Can we find that market for 40-20s, by the way?
Paddy
fucking nailed it. That was the most heartbreaking thing. This kid I talked up.
Yeah, because you would have taken
my
that bet
there. Yeah, it fucking killed me.
Shout out Owen Paddy. He looks like a good player.
Queenslander too, so even better.
Unit scoopers. Look, no one gets close but me. I got it. It's only a $14 one, but hey, it puts me even at the unit scoopers because you do $10 a week. We're at round 14. I haven't spent any money on unit scoopers. That's the philosophy. You can't always just be going for 100-to-1 things and never hit because then you're down about 30% of your kitty to start with. I get the Dragons Knights under 45. A Lego game. Storm minus 11.5. Got lucky there, but hey. Storm against the Titans and an AJ and a Toops. Toops scored in the most ridiculous fashion I've ever seen. I'm like, what? It was like a 5-second thing where he makes the line break, he gets ankle tap, he rolls, and then he thinks he's done a double movement, so just stops. I'm like, what are you doing? And then he's like, wait a second, and then someone else comes running in to try to tackle him. They miss him, and he's like, well, maybe I'll put it over now. And I'm like, fucking hell. But that's a hell of a last leg to bang on. That's Black Hawk down. That's why we do this sort of shit. So I'll take that. That takes us to the hot seat. Roo, Lomax didn't get up. Don't know whose turn it is next. You boys figure it out before we get there. Weekly leaderboard. Who do you think came in first? 23.32 units. Up.
Well done, mate.
Up.
That's huge.
On the back of a 17-unit up last week. Lippy comes in second. Van Helsing did a good job. I'll shout out to him. 3.46 plus. Got 2 bets there. 2 very good bets. Tom comes in about even, minus 3.25. His triples kind of cancelled each other out there. Eddie slips a little bit. Minus 8.08. Got a couple of bets, but his triple didn't get up. Guru, minus 15.69.
Get the shovel out.
Did you have a shovel last week?
Yeah, I did.
You did. So that's back-to-back shoves.
Yeah, it's back-to-back shovels.
Oh, wow. Well, let's jump straight into the overall leaderboard because this is fun. Eddie's still coming first, but I'm hot in his tail. Eddie, 20.56. I'm now in the positive. I was down about $250 a few weeks ago. I've crawled my way back, plus 13.62. Lippy, middle of the pack, minus 31.75. Tom, floating around those 40s, minus 45.37. And then our friend Roo, a few cents off, having lost half his money, minus 49.92.
Oh, boy.
Minus 49.92. Yeah, I think we'll get to it in the week, but it'll be interesting. Well, next, what your strategy is. Because once you get to about halfway, you got to really mix things up and you can take it either way. But what are your thoughts? What are your feelings on being this bad at punting?
Yeah, it's pretty grim. It's a big reality check off the back of last year. I thought I was invincible. I'm not going to do a Burma. I'm not going to hide away from it. I'm going to lean into it.
Yep.
I'm walking the line this week.
Okay.
I'm going to stare into the fucking sun and see how we go.
That's good. Like, that's I respect that.
Some big lines this week too.
But it's a fucked week for Lions. We'll get into the games in a second. But
I
it's
really
a
like
fucked
it
week.
this week.
Really?
Yeah, I think there's a few upsets incoming and there's big lines that I like.
Yeah, okay. I guess there are some big ones, but I don't like this week looking at it. But, minus 49.92. Look, the guy might know how many meters Brett Kenny ran in like 93 against the Dogs, but he fucking can't punt. That's accountability. Let's jump into the games. First game. I hate this game. Knights, Eagles, McDonald Jones Stadium. Head-to-head Knights, 285. Eagles, $1.42. Line, 6.5. Total points, 44.5. Rando, what can you tell us about this stinker of a game?
It's going to be dry at McDonald Jones Stadium for this match. Now, the Knights, 11 out of their 12 games this season have gone under 44.5 points. The last 7 Manly Seagulls games have gone under 44.5 points. So I love that unders. And since Tom and Eddie aren't on the desk, I can put out an anti-Manly stat too. Since they brought back Thursday night footy in 2016, the Seagulls have lost 9 of their 10 Thursday night fixtures on the road. So a bit of a breadcrumb there for Knights fans to potentially take the line. If you're looking for try scorers, Fletcher Sharp, he's $2.85. He's more odds than Kalen Ponga to score in this game. He scored 5 tries in his last 5 games, scored 3 in 3 of his last 4 at home, and a left half is the second top try scoring position against the Seagulls this season.
Right. Roo, what are you thinking for this one?
As I said, I'm walking the line. I'm going to take Manly minus 7.5.
Yep.
This is actually, in a weird way, this is actually the game I'm most nervous about. Newcastle, they have got decent defence. I look at that interview that Adam O'Brien did it after the game. Did you see that the other day?
I didn't. I wish I did, though.
Probably fell asleep.
What did he do?
Essentially blamed everything on the scheduling.
Yeah, right.
Which was just fucking insane. He even said at one point, I was forced to rest KP because of the scheduling. He's pissed off at me about that. I just get terrible vibes out of this club.
Yeah, I get, like, I don't want to single out Adam O'Brien, but, like, he kind of personifies exactly the way I feel about the club.
Yes.
And it's just, yeah, I mean, even if you, like, got a, what's it called where you, like, hire someone else to say your words for you, a surrogate, even if you believed in him so much in the coach, and he has to coach a team, keep him in the locker room and just go get a good-looking surrogate who can fucking speak with a bit of pizzazz to do the press conference, because it's the most boring, unmotivating, uninspiring fucking thing ever. And he's just come out and started blaming stuff. But at least if you had someone who kind of looked like they might have been on home and away for a few years going, okay, the scheduling's and had a little bit kind of oomph about him, maybe you wouldn't. But anyway, that's how I feel about him. I fucking hate him. Are we up to my bet now?
Well, yeah, I also just
I think so.
Like Leo Thompson out, Jacob Saifidi, Adam Elliott, like there are just no middles out there.
Yeah.
Tyson Gamble's out, who apparently is the halfback they have the most faith in at the club. DCE playing for an Origin jersey. I like Manly in this one, minus 7.5.
Look, I am a similar sort, like, I just know it's going to come to bite me in the ass, but, like, I'm going to bring my own lines and my own unders to this. But, like, Newcastle, I mean, admittedly, they'll be there going, they hear Tommy Turbo's out, and like, yeah, tell us more. Like, who else is out for Man? There's another one. Oh, it's not half a team out? We're not going to win this one. Because they seem to only win when half the team's out. But I swear they're going to put up some sort of fight soon. So I'm taking Manly only minus 4.5. I just feel a little bit safer there. Because the Knights, yeah, as I said, like, they're not playing 2024, 2025 FIFA footy. They're playing This Is Football 2004. There's no fucking trickery to their attack. It's boring as fuck. But I tell you what, it is easy to do in This Is Soccer 2004 is defend. It's super easy to defend. Knights actually do some good defense. So I'm going under 52.5. Bringing my own line there, and Manly minus 4.5, 232. Look, you might go, Sebbo, they're boring gross bets. Like, where's all the fucking like 5 league try scores? I'm up fucking 37 units doing this sort of shit. doing this sort of shit. Sometimes you got to take the long game here. It's a game of chess. So that's me. Now, Lippy is actually Tobler, as we've said, so we can bring it in-house a little bit more. Tobler, Manly fan, what do you got?
I think the Knights are absolutely dog shit, and I found a stat that was like saying that they've only won 1 from 5 home games this year, back in round 2 against the Dolphins. So I'm all in on Manly head-to-head. I started off doing my bets quite conservatively, trying to not let greed get in the way. It eventually did, as I was putting my bets on. But I've just got Manly head-to-head here. Cooler, he's been one of our best attacking outside backs this year scoring-wise, and Hamole looked fucking back last week. So I've got Manly head-to-head, Cooler and Hamole for 7.25.
Yeah, look, I mean, everyone's got their own philosophies. For me, it's like I have to stay away from things like Hamole. I hate that he scored last week kind of vibe, so I'll get him this. I know I do it sometimes myself. I know I do it. But I just don't like that side of things. But yeah, otherwise, a pretty kind of straight up and down bet there.
What's he paying at the moment?
$2.55.
Yeah, not worth it. Not worth it. Did the Knights beat the Dolphins when the Dolphins didn't have half a team? Because of
No, it was just very early when the Dolphins lost like their first 4 or something like that.
It was like round 2 or something,
Right,
and that was the last time the Knights have won a home game. So I think Manly smash them, but I'm just going conservative.
Knights, man. I like the Novocastrian area. I'm not trying to shit on the area or the people or the fans, but just they need to fix something and like maybe just fucking nuking it. Like just blowing it up is what you need to do because they seem to go backwards every year. All right, where are we at next? Storm Cows, Amy Park. Storm $1.20 Cows, $4.60. Line 15.5. Total points 51.5. Rando, what can you tell us?
It's going to be wet for this game in Melbourne. Now, the Storm, they have won 13 of their 15 games against the Cowboys in Melbourne, having not lost at home since that 2015 prelim final that the Cowboys went on to win the grand final in later on. The Storm, though, they've only defeated the Cowboys by 13-plus points at home once in their last 7 meetings at Amy Park. They've also failed to cover the line in each of their last 8 games played in the wet. So I don't mind the Cowboys at that disrespectful 15.5 line. For try scorers, the best value here you can get is Jeremiah Nanai, scored in all 3 games against the Storm. He scored 5 tries in his last 5 games, so I don't mind him at 360.
I mean, when was it? I once bet Storm 50+ against the Cows when the Cows had Jake Granville at fullback. When was that? And then the Cows won somehow.
Yeah,
like, motherfucker. So I'm scared of taking like a Storm humping here. I'm scared of taking a lot of try scorers. I'm just going Munster and Katoa. I'm going Munster because he's the type of guy I feel who's going to be the most pissed off about what happened in Origin and just go into a bit of a Munster mode. And Katoa. He hasn't scored in a while, hasn't he? Like, I'm pretty sure.
It's been a while,
few weeks. Like, he's a scorer of note. He hasn't scored in a few weeks.
Likes to score at home, though. Scored in 4 of his last 5 at home.
We'll take that. The Cow, like, if the Cows make it close game, it means the game's going to be 50-48, right? Like, if they make it close. Or otherwise, the Storm are going to hump them. I don't see this as the Cows digging in and draining the soul out of another team like the Knights and Dragons do. So, 6.53. Do I love the bet? No, but I just can't think of anything better to do. Brew?
I'm going to take the Cowboys with that line. I can't really work that out, especially in the wet. I'm happy to take that. The Cowboys not the greatest team of all time, but they can score points. Melbourne, they're just not the same defensive side they have been the last few years. So I'm happy to take that. Harry Grant's back in. That makes a huge difference, but you know he played 35 minutes for them or something 4 weeks ago. They've picked Bronson Garlick on the bench instead of Alec McDonald. That says to me then they don't have total confidence in Harry Grant still. So Cows, 15.5, did playing for a Queensland jersey. Billy Slater's backyard. 15.5's too much. I'm going to take that for the Cows.
This is such a tough round and tough time of year. Tough time of year. Everyone knows tough time of year to pick shit during buy round, Origin sort of stuff. It's like if we're on a boat and we're just going through. It's like the Bermuda Triangle the next few weeks. The compasses are spinning all different ways. It's hard to figure out. If you come out positive on these weeks, it's going to be pretty impressive.
I'm begging for the Bermuda Triangle right now. I'm at home. I'm feet on the table stuff.
Yeah, maybe you'll be spat out positive. I normally like the chaos, but these matchups are kind of grossing me out a little bit. Tobler, what are you doing?
I'm doing Cowboys plus 15.5. I just think that's way too many points. So the Cows haven't lost to the Storm since 2021. They've only played 3 games in the past 3 years. all up at Townsville. But I just think, given them putting up a good fight against the Storm year after year, 15.5 is just outrageous. And then I've got Nanai for reasons similar to what Rando said, and then Pap just because it's at Amy Park and he seems to.
How about this guy? Comes back from Bali and stealing my stat job. Like,
and I was about to be redundant.
No, I'm a big stat guy in my punting. I'm a big. I love looking at the stats.
You are a stat guy, aren't you?
I am a stat guy.
I'm not a stat guy at all.
There's a lot there for a guy that found out he was lippy 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know.
It's incredible.
He did say, I did ask him about his holiday. He said nothing.
Yeah,
for
he
the
was
20
working
minutes.
pretty
He was
hard.
working hard.
As soon as he told him he was there, he didn't say a thing. He was just typing
in the
away,
stat lab.
probably looking at Rando's sheets.
Yeah, essentially. Checking Rando's Patreon.
Look, 15.5 seems the smart bet here because rarely do those lines not get covered. But I just can't do it to myself because I don't hate the Cows. But Dolphins, Dragons, Suncorp. Dolphins, $1.55. Dragons, $2.45. Line, 5.5. Total points, 47.5. Rando, what can you tell us about this one?
It's going to be dry at Suncorp for this game. Now, the Dolphins coming off a bye. They won all 3 games off a bye last season. They have won both their meetings in Queensland against the Dragons and covered the line in each of those games too. The Dragons, they've lost 8 of their last 10 games at Suncorp. They've only covered the line in 3 of those 10 games. They also don't like beating teams they probably should beat. They've lost 5 of their last 6 games against bottom 9 opponents. So I don't mind the Finns for this game. For try scorers, can't look past the man who scored in 6 consecutive games, Herbie Farnworth. The Dolphins, they've scored 76% of their tries on their left side in the last 5 weeks. In that same period, the Dragons' right edge has been their weakest, conceding 35% of their points. Now, if you really want to go deep into it and you'd like your live betting, Herbie has scored after the 60th minute in 5 of those 6 games. So you're going to have to wait for it. Don't take him first half try scorer. You'll probably score after the 60 minute.
I am going to go Dolphins minus 5.5. Coming off a bye up there at Suncorp. I think Izzy Katoa's has been playing great footy this year. I think how direct he plays. I think they can just skin the Dragons in this one. I think the Dragons as well, boys. Like, they're coming 8th. How the fuck that happened?
They Manly coming 7th. I don't know.
But I feel like the Dragons have hit their ceiling. And I think there might be that's good enough.
Yeah.
That's good enough for us, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Like, we're starting to get a little bit carried away. Like, I was driving around, I had to take the boys for their lunchtime nap in Orange in the car, let everyone else where we're staying have a nap. And I was like, sweet, I'll drive around the outskirts of Orange for 2 fucking hours. I went through every exit and entry like 5 times. I stopped up at a few golf courses, watched some tea. I saw the whole bloody thing. But Shane Flanagan was being interviewed for like an hour on Triple M, like they're like top of the table or something. I'm like, calm down. Like, he won last night, sure, but like the Dragons are still shit, right? Like, who'd they beat last week? The Knights? Exactly. In saying all of that, like, I can't wash away the Dolphins start of the season for me. Like, it's always lingering there. I don't want to pick any sort of result here. And I had Bostock just by himself, but then I just remembered he plays outside Herbie. Yep. And I'm just going, what are you doing? And then Rando gives me a great Herbie stat, which he did a few weeks ago. For 340 he was there, but now he's 220. Like, I don't know that's ridiculous, right? But he has scored, 5 of the last 7. You know what? The entity is here.
Yeah.
The entity's here, sitting at the table. I have to lean into one of his bets, and I'm just going to take Herbie at 220. Probably the world's dumbest bet here.
Yeah.
But I got Joshy Carr for like 215 last week. Herbie loves to. Everyone loves to score, but Herbie really wants to score, like when he's playing. So 220, I'll take that. I mean, I do think the Dolphins will pump him, but I can't trust him.
Mate, just think of me as your angel on your left shoulder and the devil with a shovel on the right. So don't listen to him.
Yeah, I mean, Red, I have had a good experience with you of late, but you have fucked me over before.
The Dolphins as well, like, the 2 premiership favourites right now, the Melbourne Storm and the Canterbury Bulldogs, they have slapped both of them.
Yeah, you're right.
Dolphins,
yeah,
they're 10th. I think it just, and what you said about the start of the season, if you go back to the start of the season, like, cyclone and all that shit was going on. They had to come down to Sydney, losing play. There was a lot of crap going on. I think the Dolphins are pretty close to a top 8 side, and I'm not convinced the Dragons are. I think they'll flex some muscles this
So
week.
both teams that can lose a game, they should win. So
Yes.
that's what makes it so difficult.
Fuck it, I'll throw the Dolphins line in there, -5.5.
there you
That
go.
gets me to 328. I like the 328 number here. That's also trusting you, Rando. So if neither of these legs get up, it's completely your fault.
I believe it was the last Skeleton Crew, or the first iteration of it, where Rando went ballistic and
went
got like
ballistic,
7
went
from
off.
8 tips correct that week.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a-
you were
that's a
you were
correct
good on the
stat.
skeleton crew.
Yeah, I was. I think it's, Skeleton Crew vibes. I mean, it feels like the last week before Christmas at the office right now because there's fuck all people here.
yeah, it does feel like
But the people you like, you know.
everyone's left to go underground. You know, fucking Armageddon's coming, and we're the losers left up here. Look, I'm going to trust you, Rando. You did well last skeleton crew. I have not backed my gut before, but my gut didn't tell me to bet post stock. It was me looking at the thing going, I don't have a bet for this game. So let's just move on to the next game. What do we got? We got Sharks versus Warriors, Shark Park. Sharks 148, Warriors 265. Line 6.5, total points 45.5. Rando.
This one's going to be an interesting game. Now, the Warriors, they've won their last 2 games at Shark Park. They've also won their last 4 away games by 6 points or less. So it's always been tight between these games. Another stat about the Sharks, they've lost 5 of their last 6 Saturday night fixtures. So they're already thinking about being down at the Sharkies nightclub, I believe, there in the Shire. So I don't mind the Warriors here to cover that plus 6.5 start. For try scorers, can't go past them. Another bloke on a streak. Kale Ero scored in all 8 games this season. He's scored in each of his last 6 games at Shark Park. Scored in his only game he played against the Warriors. And that Warriors right edge has conceded 42% of their tries in the last 5 weeks. Of course, AJ went over for a hat trick. Latrell Mitt went over down that side as well. So, I mean, we keep talking about streaks going for long. They must be broken soon. But Ero, whenever he has the matchup, he just gets over the line. He's got Hiroti on his outside this time. I think he just tucks it on the arm in this game. He is paying around that 240 mark, 220 mark. But I think for 8 games straight, also will beat the record for most consecutive tries scored for the Sharks.
Is betting, I mean, I've just done it with Herbie. And I already had KL in there, but like betting people on like 7-game try scoring streaks is like the dumbest thing ever. It really is, because the odds are so low, and you just know as soon as you do it. But if you started doing it, keep running. But like I did bet on KL last time he scored, so I'm not jumping on just because he scored. I've already been on. I have him in there, but then I had CNK. Why? Why, Seb? Because he scored last week. What a fucking idiot. What a fucking idiot. I'm just not following my own advice. I was like Tobler there for a second. So I'm taking CNK the hell out of there. How much is KL by himself? What are we talking? 215 gross. Gross. We'll go, I think it'll be a tight one. KL, either team to win by less than 12.5 points. Warriors love to keep it close. I don't know who's going to win this one. Why? Surely they got to slow down a little bit. Barnett's out. Like, I feel they've just been scrapping their way away from home. Sharks, I don't know. Like, I just don't know. So I'm going to take those 2 legs, 372.
Important to note the Sharks did fuck all when the Roosters were missing their whole pack,
Oh,
basically,
wait, that
let
was
alone
them
one player.
last time they played, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Where they just got completely...
They got completely fucked.
I told you, Sharks, man, they think they're all holograms. There's none there. Cheerleader effect. Fuck, that scares me. Fuck, no, I'm gonna keep it. I can't go around in circles like I'm in the Bermuda Triangle, which I feel like I am.
Wait, so you're keeping CNK?
No, I'm keeping. No, sorry.
Just KL?
372 KL.
Okay.
Either team less than 2.5 points. Now CK. Well, not CK. He's a golf guy who cheats his content. But big fan. 372 is me.
Oh, that was huge. All right. Was plus 6.5. Fucking Dumb and Dumber a few weeks ago called it a false economy or whatever they fucking said. They got beat by the Raiders, who are a top 3 team. Like, I don't know about it. I think the Warriors are a very good football side. I tend to lean into yours, mate. The Sharkies, I can't trust them week to week. 6.5 is just too much for a good defensive side. So give me the Wars. I think that obviously Barnett's a huge loss, but man, I think these young guys are just coming of age.
Yeah, they're good,
And I think they're just going to bring a lot of... I think they'll bring a lot this weekend. Again, the Sharkies are expected to win. That's a nightmare for the Sharkies. Give me 6.5 on the Wars.
Can someone tell me what the fuck? Like, I remember when the Wars first made their little Renaissance thing, and it was like that breathing exercise. I think they're still doing it. Roger likes it. They always have a camera on Roger when he does it. And that was like maybe 4 or 5 years ago when they had this little surge, and you're like, okay. And then they kind of been up and down, up and down. Even when they, top 4 with like Shay J and all those guys, they still had a little bit of that kind of flary Wars stuff about them. They used to be like, you could not know what happens. Like, I'm still not adapting to that. They're just fucking digging in and having a crack. Like, what's happened? Like,
even when we were at those peak Shay J days and they were flying and whatnot, like, they weren't beating good teams. They were beating up on shit teams. I feel like this team, like, Grant, they lost to the Raiders, but they hang in the contest.
Yeah, it's weird because normally they would just capitulate. Yeah. Like back in the day, you like, Shojo would line break, score double, then they, have 30 put on them. Like, you couldn't trust them. But I'm liking it. Like, you can see I'm slowly dipping my toe into believing in the Wars.
Yeah.
Minus, no team 12.5 points. Now it probably doesn't get up, but shout out to them. I know we shat on the Wars fans the other day. I'm not talking about the Wars fans. I'm talking about the Wars. You guys still can be a bit annoying. But that takes me to Tobler. What have you got?
So I started out with KL because I'm a big buy into the streak guy based off like on Anzac Day, if there's a head streak, I've seen people lose so much money being like, nah, it's going to end, it's going to end, it's going to end. So I'm a huge buy into the streak guy. Throw KL in there. Dallin, I think, has a really good scoring record against the Sharks. So I've got him in there for 2. But I put in Wars 1 to 12 because I think they'll win, but I think it's just going to be tight. I mean, my housemate is a Wars fan, so I've been watching a lot of their games this season, and going through the results, it's like win by 2, 4, 6. They have a habit of letting teams back in, so I think if they will win, it'll be 1 to 12. But greed could come back to bite me there because it's at 35-43. It's big odds.
Look, I mean, it's a type of bet that you'll probably get up in, but it's the type of bet that has a bit of balls with the DWZ too, but it doesn't show any creativity, unfortunately, I'm going to have to say.
That's fair. That's fair.
But look, it's not a bad bet for 35-43. But DWZ, I mean, without Shay J, has he really been scoring that much?
Only scored for the first time this season last week. Yeah. But he has scored a double in each of his last 2 games at Shark Stadium.
Oh, perfect.
So that should put you at ease a bit more.
Kicking the door in on arrival and jumping on a streak and a 2 try scorer, it's very lippy.
Yeah,
35.
You've just jumped on. I was already on. So that.
No, I was on too. No, I'll let everyone know.
Oh, you're on his last few.
Oh
tries,
no, fuck no.
No, exactly.
Not all 8. Not all 8. Since he came back.
Now the streak's fucked once you get Tobler jumping on board. Sharks, Warrior. Oh no, we've already done that. Broncos, Titans.
Just before we move on quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
And I know it's not when you pointed out, but Ramian still has the only one that hasn't scored on that.
Yeah, the blacklist.
Overlooking it.
I mean, you kind of ruin the breadcrumb for others.
Well, because I don't want the other 2 dumb shits to get on it, so I'm happy to ruin it.
Yeah, look, I mean, if you breadcrumbs can still come off if you call them out, but like if you had, half a brain, you would have picked Ramian. I'm not going to go back and do it. I'm not going to change my bet again. But look, if there's any sort of trend here, he's going to get a double.
Yeah. If I get a betting market for Burma to bet on Ramian this week,
Ramian will be tripled.
Mate, Aero up against Capewell, please. I think the Sharks going to pound that ball to him.
Yeah, but the power of the blackboard, Rando, you don't understand it.
I've never been this close to it. It's radiating on me.
You only believe in things that run on electricity, can print out stuff. You're like a fucking floppy disk. You don't understand the chalk, the blackboard. It's a different world out there. Broncos, Titans. Suncorp, Broncos, $1.35. Titans, $3.20. Bit of value maybe there. Line, 10.5. Total points, 50. Expecting a high-scoring game. Is it dry? Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, it will be dry for this game at Suncorp. Now, it's a danger game here for the Broncos. They've lost their last 3 games against the Titans. They've lost 5 of their last 7 meetings at Suncorp. The Titans, they've covered a double-digit line that the Broncos have had against them in each of their last 5 occasions, so they love covering that line. And on top of that, the Broncos, they've failed to cover the line in 13 of their last 14 games as home favourite. They've also never won on the 7th of June, the Broncos, so all the stats are sort of pointing here to a potential Titans upset, if not at least covering that 10.5 line. For try scorers, AKP, he's scored in 6 straight games at Suncorp Stadium, scored in all 4 games against the Broncos. So I don't mind him at $2.05. If you're looking for a bit more value, Bo Firma, he's scored in consecutive games against the Broncos. He scored 3 tries, in his last 3 games at Suncorp too. So a bit on that left side for the Titans.
But as someone who got on Carney Peter scored the most tries last season, obviously I get him a bit. Has he dried up a little bit now that the halves...
Dried up. He's one. I reckon he's 1 game away from the blacklist. 3 straight games.
Yeah,
no tries.
yeah. So I like the... Yeah, I feel... I don't know. Rue, what are you doing? Because I've got a bit of a big bet coming up.
I love the Titans in this game. I love them head-to-head. So if you're going to give me 10.5, I will take that. I'm kind of considering tripling this, to be honest with you.
I think it's a good... Like, I mean, the Titans... Again, I didn't fully watch the game against Melbourne, but like they took it to him. Like only lost by, 12 points?
12 points, yeah.
To Melbourne when the Broncos are somehow like the worst team in the comp.
Do you have any stats that point to the Broncos? Like I keep, this whole argument of it's a top 4. So is it?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I mean, they've won 7 of their last 10 games against Queensland opponents. They like playing the Titans at night. They've won their last 4 night meetings against them, but that's basically about it. Everything that you look at this season, they've fallen completely off a cliff. They're still 10th. They're a win away from bouncing back into the top 8.
Yeah, it was because they were like,
and they've got a buy in hand.
5.
They've still got a buy in hand.
They
It's
lost to
crazy.
like half of Bunny's team. Are we talking about the Broncos?
Yeah, we still are. Yeah.
I'm going to do it. I think the Titans are good things in this one. I'm going to triple them at $1. Titans tripled plus 10.5. I think AJ Brimson, I heard Physio say the other day, when you challenge this 11-day stand down, they tend to be allowed to play. So you get Jaden Campbell, you get Brimson, and you got Foz on the side still. Yeah, I think it's the play. So Titans 10.5 tripled for me.
I would be almost copying and following the triple because it just makes sense to me. I didn't think it out that far. Instead, I went for a glory bet, an immortal bet, and a bet that you can tell your grandkids about. So follow along and just get on it because the odds are so high that you don't need to put much on it anyway. But the way I saw this, I saw the game as I don't know who's going to win. Broncos, if they can't somehow pump the Titans, they need to blow it up. And I really don't think they're going to pump them. And there's hot boys running around everywhere. So I've basically gone and got like an enforcer, a fucking T-Rex from each side, and then a young hot boy. It's good watching when you can see a Haas, a Tino. Everyone loves watching those players. A Walsh, a Jaden. Give me an extreme close-up of their faces after they score the try. Because I've got all 4 of them to score a try, 109.46. This might be a dumb bet, yes, but if it goes off, you are literally telling your grandkids about it. It's a grandkid bet. We like it. Haas, Tino, Walsh, Jaden Campbell.
Fuck.
If that fucking gets up, it's got to be the best bet of all time, right?
That is crazy.
109. Jesus.
Well, it's 4 guys. Haas and Tino about $5 each. Look, the crazy thing is that Walsh and Jaden aren't ridiculous, right? They're not ridiculous to score. Walsh, he's the spark they might need. Campbell seems to be scoring a fair bit, at least be close. Tino has scored this season. Haas has scored this season. Both of these teams are almost relying on those 2 guys to lead from the front. Fucking Haas has made some line breaks and he's come close more than once. Tino has scored in Rue's blocker bet, so we know he can do it. 109.46. Get my name on that board. Look, I don't throw these sort of bets out often. I like to do my more conservative approaches. How you kind of get up in this game. It's a long game, but this is fucking just throw caution to the wind. We're in the Bermuda Triangle. It's a skeleton crew. Fucking no one knows which way's up. The compass is going around there. Origin buys. What the hell's happening? No one. So that's a time you're going to get 109.46 bet. Thank you very much. Tobler, what's your shit bet?
Just looking at it now, I've got like 5 legs for $22. Which, looking at it on paper,
anyone.
So I like the Titans here, but I've just gone a little bit conservative with the line at 10.5. I think that's too many points. The Broncos looked so garbage against Manly last week. High scoring game, I've gone the overs. And then I took AKP and Arthurs just because I think in a high scoring game, they'll go to the wing. AKP worries me now off the back of what Rando has been saying. And then I threw Stags in there just because I want to get on the board. So
look, I can appreciate the Stags part, but your try scorers have been very pedestrian.
Yes.
Very pedestrian.
Yes. Yeah, pedestrian at best.
There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just kind of sounding you out, just kind of pushing you, prodding you, seeing your thoughts behind it. There's nothing wrong with it. I've spent a year doing pedestrian bets. I think I came last that season. But like... I'm not shitting on the bet. I'm just
I've found it extremely hard this season to pick Titans try scorers.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if I go the wingers, the centers will score. If I go the centers, the wingers will score, or Bo Firmer will get over or something.
Yep.
So I just thought, fuck it, stick with AKP, which I've got the least amount of faith in him off the back of
Yeah, I mean,
what Rando
no
was
one
saying
understands
now.
better than me because I got him total tries, most tries last year.
Yeah.
So, and I just have a vibe that he's off a little bit, but
Exactly. So
For what it's worth on Stags, I still have a headache from nailing my head on the Stags as I walked on. Maybe there's something in that.
yeah, Rue did knock himself out on the Stags.
well, that'd be good.
11-day stand down protocol. No, look, Tobler, I don't mind it. It's just actually no, this bit I don't like. But
It needs
you know
a
what?
lot to
I think it
happen.
will get up. It's a lot to happen. But if we're like, it's probably going to be 60 points in this game, maybe. Anyway, look, that's that game. Gonna be interesting if Titans win, because what the hell's going to happen then? Is that when they just blow it up? Like I don't like. Is that when they do it?
I think they're merging.
Now, here we go. Raiders, Rabbitohs. Where are we? GIO Stadium. Raiders $1.40. Rabbitohs $2.95. Line 8.5. Total points 46.5. What time is this game happening, Rando?
2 p.m.
Okay.
2 p.m. game for this one. It's going to be dry in Canberra. Plenty to celebrate for the Raiders. They've got Josh Papali'i playing becoming the most capped Raider of all time. You've also got Corey Horsburgh and Matty Timoko playing their 100th game as well. So, I mean, if you want to breadcrumb all those three into a milestone bet, then there it is. But I do like the Rabbitohs to cover the line. They've covered the line in all 4 away games this season. The Raiders, when they've been given an 8.5 point line or more, they have failed to cover that in 7 of the last 9 occasions. They've won all 9 occasions. They've just failed to cover the line in that. So don't mind the Rabbitohs plus 8.5. For try scorers, plenty to look at here. I mean, AJ, he's still at $2, which is absolutely insane to me. He's got a great record against the Raiders, scoring 5 tries in his last 4 games. A left winger has scored in 3 of the last 4 games against the Raiders too. So he's worth a pickup. But if you're looking for a bit more value, look for the bloke who looks like Timmy Williams. He scored in 3 consecutive games at GIO Stadium. The right second rower has a 50% strike rate against the Rabbitohs this season, scoring 6 tries in 12 games. So don't mind hosking if you're looking for a bit more val.
Hasn't the Matty Timoko 100 games come up quickly?
You know what's funny? Seb Chris, next game, 100 games. They've just been side by side the entire
I'm
time.
having a look at Matt Timoko. He essentially hasn't missed, outside of this, like the 3 years before this, he essentially hasn't missed a game. He's played 26, 25, 24 games.
Yeah, right.
Wild.
I mean, yeah, he's kind of... Both those guys seem new. But, I mean, fucking... The last 4 years have just moulded into one for me. But, fucking... I'm still using COVID as a time reference, But, like... Oh, yeah, that was just after lockdown. And it's just like... That was like 5 years ago, Seb. Like... Rue, what are you doing? Because I need to think about something.
I know there's a lot of milestones there for the Raiders and whatnot, and they'll be up and about, but I just don't think milestones, I don't think they worry Wayne Bennett teams. There's too much experience there. I think that the big ins this week for South Sydney, like Cody Walker's back in, Jack Whiten returning to the nation's capital. I think that there's been a couple of guys in their back line hanging around the last few weeks, so I'm not sure if they're out and out first graders. They're all gone now. Ty Munro's also on the extended. It wouldn't shock me if he comes in. I love they've moved Keon to the middle. Like I think they've actually got a pack that can compete with the Raiders. I really like the Rabbitohs in this one. Plus 8.5 I think is just too much. And, when the Raiders play their best footy, they're winning by 2. They're winning by 4. They're winning by 6. 8.5, I really like it. So Rabbitohs plus 8.5 for me. Walking the line.
Yeah, look, fuck the Rabbitohs. I mean, we've been putting up a pretty good fight of late, considering our team has been decimated, and we're pretty much back, minus Cam Murray. Are we missing anyone else of note? Not of note.
I mean,
right?
Jai Gray was leading the Dally M's 4 weeks ago. He's not in your team anymore. He's playing reserve grade.
Yeah, I wish he was like 14. But, Wayne, fucking, he's just been getting the boys up and about, hasn't he?
Is Mamazelis playing? Or is he?
No, he's still injured. It's Havili still at 9.
He's doing an all right job, but obviously want Mamazelis there. But look. Tobler, what are you doing?
So I think the Raiders will win just because they'll grit it out in the cold at home. I think there'll be a shitload of points because, like, the Rabbitohs scored like 30 against the Wars last week, and I think I'm on AJ, Trell, and Huddy. Trell and Huddy mainly just because of Origin, and I think they're just fit and firing at the moment. And AJ, I reckon after that hat trick last week, he's now like 13 tries off breaking Ken Irvine's record. So I think he's like might be starting to believe that he could do it this season before his contract runs out. So I've just thrown him in there, and that's just a $2 leg. But so Raiders over 46.5, AJ, Trell, and Huddy for 18.36. So I've gone a bit greedy again.
Yeah, the greedy guts. Greedy guts. Hard not to, though. All right, I've finalised my bet. I basically have kept it the same. I've just tossing and turning whether to put an AJ in there. I had him last week. And this whole 13 tries to go. I thought he wasn't going to do it. Like the last couple of years, been injured every 2 seconds. Then he gets that hat trick, and it's like, oh, we're alive because we don't know if we're getting signed next year. And then so I'm going, I want him to get it, but then I don't want to bet on him and then it not happen, and then it's kind of my fault he didn't get it. But now I've been thinking about, you know what? I actually think he is going to get it because I think the boys are going to want him to get it. Trell's going to be like, fucking my pass out to that little wing, like where you are, it's just on fire. Let's just go get it. Raiders, though, scary defensive team, so it might not come off, but I want to be on him. I'm almost committing to betting on AJ as a leg for every game going forward, so I can say, you know, this record's never going to be broken, or maybe it does, but I'll go, oh, the last 13, yeah, I was that with my multi. I got up on those bets, though I'm not standing him out. I'm just going to take AJ. I think I'm taking my own total point line here under 53.5. I think Wayne just, I know the Warriors one went over last week, but I just feel they Rabbitohs tend to kind of dig in and defensively a bit more, and then just taking my own plus 10.5 instead of 8.5, giving myself an extra 2 points for what the bookies predicted is. So I'm kind of getting that for $3.98. I actually really like this bet. I know it's boring. I know it's gross. AJ, under 53.5, Rabbitohs plus 10.5. Pretty much just call it $4 for a smart, thought-out bet. That's what we're going to call it. I just don't want to fucking curse AJ.
Now, I just happened to look at some numbers, and I'm kidding.
Jeez, everyone's making me redundant this week. Fucking hell, jeez. Anyone else?
Maybe it's got nothing to do with it. I don't know. But I think it's fair to say AJ's slowed down a little bit in the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Does it have anything to do with since Jack Whiten arrived? Doesn't tend to pass the ball as much. Loves to run the pill. You want Jack Whiten running the pill too. I know he's had a few injuries and stuff too, but I just wonder if maybe that's got something to do with it. Jack back at left centre this week. Latrell and Jack.
But you're not. I get what you're saying, but it seems that you just need Latrell there, to be honest.
Mate, Latrell cut out. He's going to find.
That's basically the thing, and especially if Jack's there, then that's going to bring in the defenders more. And then, like, surely Latrell can't do 8 perfect passes in a row. Nah, there it is. Boom.
I'd love to see some numbers around his try scoring rate when Jack Whiten's in the side, because I mean he scored 5 this year, which is great, but he scored 3 on the weekend when Jack wasn't there. The year before that, he played 13 games. He only scored 8 tries. I'd be very interested to see if there's something there potentially. But
yeah, that's something for Rando. But they were playing like shit last year.
Yep, that's fair.
We're fucked. But if you're not closely following and going for AJ to break this record, I don't know what's wrong with you. Moving on. Shout out AJ Rando. Get those stats up for a different day once he scores his next try. Where are we? Tigers, Panthers. Combank Stadium, head-to-head Tigers are $3.35, Panthers $1.30, line 9.5, total points 45.5.
Interesting game, this one. It'll be dry on Sunday. Obviously, you've got the big matchup, Luai up against Nathan Cleary. They'll both be up for this game. Don't mind the Tigers covering that plus 9.5 line. Now, the Panthers, they have failed to cover the line in 7 of their last 8 games at Combank. The one game they did cover was last game where they had that minus 4.5, but they only won by 8 points, so they still didn't win over that 10-point margin. The Tigers, they have won 3 of their last 4 games at Combank as well. So don't mind the Tigers to cover there. For try scorers, I do like Casey McLean here. I think he's just been the main guy. He's basically been the left winger. We've talked about it ad nauseum on the panel about how he just takes Tom Jenkins' tries or just doesn't, seem to know that he exists on that left edge. He scored in 3 of his last 4 games at Combank. He has scored at a 67% strike rate this season, and the Tigers' right edge is their weakest in the last 5 weeks. That right side in total have conceded 62% of their tries. But if you're looking for a bit more value, then Liam Martin is your man to look at here. A right second rower has scored in each of the last 3 games. Heck, John Bateman managed to find his way over the line last week. Samuel Afinu is the man we're singling out here. He has missed 40 tackles in 11 games, which ranks him 12th for missed tackles in the NRL.
Okay, I'm going to change my bet. Follow Rando a little bit here. I had the Panthers line -9.5. I didn't believe in it. I just don't know about this game. Penrith, sure, if they weren't probably going to die of exhaustion, maybe you triple that line, but who knows how they're going to go. Liam Martin, him and I have a bit of a history that I've betted him a few times this year. Hasn't got close. Last week, he got as close as you could want, right? Did he knock it on, or what happened there? Like, he was basically had a clean break and then just fell over and the ball spat out of his. I don't know. I don't mind Liam Martin at 390. I feel he's owed one. I wanted to put him on the blacklist, but then everyone was like, no, you can't put Liam Martin. No one's ever on him. I was like, dude, I've been on him so many times. So that just, where is he there? 390. And then we'll throw in a little, who did you say doesn't pass to Jenkins again?
Casey McLean.
Casey McLean. Yeah, we'll go those two, 891. Don't mind that. 2 try scorers. Look, this will be the last time I'm on Liam. But I saw him last week, and I was like, oh, my God, the 1 week I'm not on him. And then, so I think he's owed one. And
blacklist next week.
Yeah. No, I can't put it. The guys won't let me. Rui, what are you doing?
I'm going to take the Tigers plus 9.5. Now, I just look at Jerome Luai and, the last 2 months have just been a very Tigers 2 month. And I just feel like Jerome will just say to them this week, hey, I've done your Tigers bullshit the last few weeks. Going against my old cool friends this week. Can we just pull our shit together and compete? 2 sin bins last week in North Queensland. They lost by 4 points. So I think they take a lot of confidence out of that. They move Seafarth in the middle. I don't mind that. I just think the Tigers will compete in this one. I think Jerome Luai, Taruva, those boys will keep them up. So 9.5. For the record, I hate when it's a 9. I feel like I get nothing there. I want 10. I'd rather 8 than 9, to be honest with you. But I think the Tigers will at least compete in this game. I think Jerome will have a good game. So Tigers plus 9.5.
It's a brave bet. I mean, either side is a brave bet at the moment because...
Is it a brave bet? Penrith's coming, third last?
Yeah, but you feel like they've just kind of clicked back a little bit.
Just when you say that, they haven't won consecutive games this season.
There's no pressure on the Tigers whatsoever. No one gives a fuck what the Tigers' result is outside of totes. There's no pressure on them. Penrith have got all the pressure in the world on them right now.
You don't think they'll galvanise for a little bit? They
can galvanise, but they're not playing great footy.
Yeah.
It's 9.5 points.
Yeah, but okay. 9, it is light. If it was 11, I'd be like, okay, it's a smart bet. But I just the Tigers against Penrith. I know recent things have been different, but if you put that line, Tigers versus Penrith, 2 months ago before Penrith, whatever the fuck happened to them, you'd be like, you're crazy for taking the Tigers.
Let me flip it on you then. I've got 2 choices. If I'm walking the line, I have to do one of the 2 things.
Yeah.
You just said yourself, you feel nothing when you see Penrith minus 9.5.
Yeah.
I'm exactly the same. I've got no confidence in them.
Yeah.
They're going to beat them by more than 10 points in this game.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Tigers too. They've taken 2 games, their home games, to Combank Stadium this year against Penrith and Parramatta, giving them fucking home games, essentially.
Why? Just to
it must be crowd numbers, cash, whatever it is, but Jesus, let's win some football games.
Yeah.
9.5, I think it's too much. I'm happy to take the Tigers.
Yeah,
there.
I can see them winning as well. I really can. I just have no conviction. Rue obviously does. Tobler, what do you got?
Yeah, I've got a similar conviction to Rue. I think the Tigers will get up for this one, especially Luai and Taruva, as you said. So I've taken Tigers plus 9.5, and then To'o and Taruva, just a couple of wingers, double enders. I think they've got good try scoring records at Combank. So 6.15, I'll take it. I was thinking about putting Luai in, but I looked away from the greed, and I'm just going to go with that.
Hell of a celebration if he scores.
Luai is a mirage when it comes to ATS. I love watching Luai play, but he's not a try scorer. He doesn't. He wants to try set other people up, which is good. But yeah, I think he's a bit of a mirage.
By the way, before we move on, Jack White and AJ, 13 games played with each other at Rabbitohs. Would suspect most of them was at centre or Jack White in left half. How many tries do you reckon AJ scored in those 13 games?
5.
7.
13.
Oh, there we go. Doesn't mean shit.
God damn it.
Doesn't mean shit. Rue tried to outthink the room. And it blew up in his face. Are we in the last game now? Bulldogs versus Eels at Core Stadium. Get the fuck... The bunny, can we please get out of there? Head-to-head, Bulldogs, $1.40. Eels, $2.95. Line, 8.5. Interesting 8.5. And total points, 44.5.
It's going to be dry for this game. They reckon they're going to get numbers upwards of that Rabbitohs Bulldogs figure as well. So it's going to be a hostile environment there at Accor Stadium for the Eels. Reckon they will fall through. The Dogs, they are 4-0 in day games, covering the line in 3 of those games. They've also won both games coming off a bye this season. So don't mind them to get the job done here. So that's an easy win there. As you look around for try scorers, plenty to look at, but I think that we're going to have to land on Marcelo Montoya here, or someone on the left edge for the Bulldogs. You got Bronson Cherry. He scored 3 tries in his last 3 games against the Eels. You got Marcelo Montoya, 4 tries in his last 4 games against the Eels. The Eels, they have conceded 10 tries in 12 games to left wingers. Left centres have a 50% try scoring strike rate, scoring in 3 of the last 5 games as well. So either of those two on the left edge would be the best bet.
Left edge. What can you tell me about Billy Kicks on the left edge? He's on the left edge.
He's on the
right?
left side too, so I guess that's pretty positive for him. He scored in 2 of his last 4 games at Accor, and he scored in 2 of his last 3 games in general.
That's pretty. I feel I'm a bit of a Billy Kick wrangler because I wrangled him recently in that Raiders game where I lost my hot seat, which is annoying. But I'm taking, I mean, I had a vibe for Billy Kick. Rando had a vibe for the side, as in the left side. So I don't mind that little collab there. Also don't mind kind of cherry picking Ruse Brain and his obsession with Lomax. So I'm kind of going to go Billy Kick and Lomax, a little double ender there. I mean, I feel, and Rue probably agrees, right? Like, no matter what side the Eels are playing, as long as they can get to like 20 metres out and just put a bomb up for Lomax, it's just like that's how he scores. So it's kind of matchup proof. Just about how many opportunities do you get? So Billy Kick and Lomax 5.96.
I like the Eels plus 8.5 in this one. I like the Eels for an upset, to be honest with you. I think going into this game, Canterbury, it's been a long time between games of football for Canterbury.
I feel they haven't played much.
No, they didn't play the second half against the Dolphins. That cost me a fucking fortune. But since then, this Galvin stuff, like, I hope I'm wrong, but how can your halfback and your hooker not be kind of pissed off at the moment?
Wiggin out.
Wiggin out a little bit.
Yeah.
They have to be. And, you know,
I'd be Wiggin.
Would they be sabotage? Would they be at the levels of
I don't think
sabotage?
it's sabotage.
No, but it's if your mind's distracted and you have anxiety and you feel like there's a microscope on you because you don't know which one of you is fucked, that leads to errors. It's, you know, if you're working in a bar and there's a million people to serve, the quicker and more anxious you are, the more fuck-ups you make. And that could just kind of lead into there. I know what you're saying.
And I think it's been pretty evident this year in the NRL. If a team is off by 5%, you might as well be off by 50%. Like, you can just get played off the fucking park in this comp. I think Parramatta are playing good footy. They're hanging in. As you said, if Lomax can just get up for a couple of hangers, all of a sudden that 8.5 is, you know, 20.5 very quickly. So I like Parramatta plus 8.5. I actually feel okay about this one.
Yeah, I would be leaning to that side of the line too. Randa, can you get the Bulldogs' last like 5 results up? Because I feel... I can't remember going, oh my God, look at the Bulldogs go, except that Canberra game where they came back. But like, I feel they're kind of going off the ball a bit, and they're going to blame it all on Galvin. They're going to blame it all on him, but I feel they're already like that before that.
They have been kept scoreless in 3 of their last 5 first halves. So they've always had to come back from a deficit. So yeah, it's just been, they've beaten every New South Wales team they've played. They've only lost to Queensland teams. They're the only ones going the anti-Queensland way at the moment.
I also reckon in this game that, like, if I'm Riles, I'm pointing out, hey, we wanted Galvin.
Yeah.
He fucking chose not to come here. Like, there's some disrespect in that as well.
Do you reckon he plays?
Yeah, I reckon he'll come off the
Oh,
bench.
you reckon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I also reckon, you know, like, as much as this hooker and halfback, if I was them, I'd be a little bit like, what the fuck's going on? But they're obviously going to be mates with other guys in this team as well. I think there is potential for a bit of a derail here.
Yeah, I reckon 8.5's good for them. Topler, what are you doing?
Similar vein of thinking with Rue, I think Parrot will get up for this one. I initially had Lomax for 2 because I think that's a good way to beat. I think that's how they'll beat Like, that's their most effective way of attacking, almost like Moses kicking to Lomax. And because I had 2, I thought, fuck it. Let's go Lomax Hattie. It was paying 26s, so you combine that with the line, you're getting 39.28.
Speaking of derailed, your last couple of bets were just completely derailed.
Yeah,
but even just that, top of, like, if you're going to do a Lomax Hattie, if you understand anything about design, beauty, symmetry, you just stand out a Hattie. You don't put a line with the Hattie. It just looks gross.
I know, it looks gross, but I had the line.
And what, it gives you an extra couple bucks, probably?
An extra 13.
Since
13.
Since
Extra
20.
13
with a Hattie.
odds.
With a Hattie, yeah.
Hattie
wow.
was 26, and so with the line, you get an extra $13 for it. So I thought, fuck
Since 2019, Zach Lomax has an 8% strike rate of scoring 2 or more tries.
What about 3?
Well, that would probably be...
I also
Yeah,
had
but he hasn't had the Mitchell
I
bomb.
don't
I feel like at the moment, the Mitch Moses, Zach Lomax thing, if anyone's familiar with the
I'm
Germans...
so confident I won't be familiar with whatever this is going to be.
a blitzkrieg attack from Germany.
Okay, I'm in.
So, you send in the aerial guys first. And, it's the Germans, they'd send in the planes. And I feel when Lomax is playing the other team, those, like, bombing sirens you always go off in London? Like, Blitzkrieg, that's just, like, they just send Lomax up there. Then they come through
So, yeah, I'm sounding the siren.
You're sounding
Lomax
the siren.
Hattie.
The Bulldogs will be sounding the Blitzkrieg siren.
Yeah.
Blitzkrieg pop. All right, that's it. That's the rounds. Who knows what the hell's going to happen? I don't. I'm sure a lot of people will come Tuesday. Told you so. But let's move on to our unit scoopers. And where are we? I got to change mine. So I'll let Rue go first.
I have never had an attempt at an Azaki 8. It's sat behind me here for 2 odd years now, and I always sort of glance at it and think, how good would that be? And I just never know if I've been made of the right stuff to do it. And I'm still not convinced I am, but I figure if I'm walking the line this week and I happen to go 8 for 8 and I'm not on it,
Yep.
I'll never sleep again.
Yeah.
I won't.
Yeah. I think it's almost like an auto bet if you're walking the line.
Yeah, I think I've got to do it. So and you know what, boys? Like we said at the start, it's a hard week. Like I feel like I didn't get that much pushback for any of my lines that I have taken.
Well, I had a brief look at your lines a second ago, and the one thing I will say, not brave of you, but like smart of you. I'll figure out the word is in a second. But you've taken a lot of pluses.
Yep.
A lot of dead shits take the minuses because they're just like, I'm going to bump him to the favourites. And they'd have like 8 minuses of Zaki. Check out my Zaki slip. It's like you've just taken every favourite the minus. There's always upsets in rugby league.
Yeah.
This year more than ever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not the line. That's the actual match result. So you kind of have to be on the plus side of the lines at the moment. It needs to be a 5-3 ratio at least.
I reckon I only disagree with one of your lines, and that'd probably be the Eels one. Other than that, I'm happy with every other one.
To be honest with you, the one that I have the most concern about is the first one, Manly minus 7.5. That's the one that I have no idea what I'm going to get from those two teams.
That is true.
If I was a betting man, I'd probably bet on me to go 1 from.
I don't know why, but it must be
from
the odd numbers, because that one and the Tigers one are the two ones that I'm probably the most.
Odd numbers are rank.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't like them. But yeah, I'm going for my first Azaki. All my bets throughout the weekend, 169.83.
Oh, wow. They don't give you the odds that Sebbo used to get, 198. I must have taken some braver lines, though, probably. Look, well, the more brave the line, they probably pump up the price a little bit.
Bravery points.
Yeah, because they're not all equal. Trust me, they're not. I played around with these. I invented the fucking thing.
Hold on. Have you done the same thing, Tobler?
No, very, very close. So I put this on without even looking at your lines, and the only difference we've got is I've taken Raiders minus 8.5, whereas you've got the Bunnies plus 8.5.
Yes, that's a braver line maybe for the Raiders game.
But are you more?
Not all plus or minus
so
are
some
braver
are $2,
or weaker. They're just,
$1.80, etc.
one plus can be brave, one minus can be brave.
Yeah, I just
Obviously,
think the Raiders...
The bookies know which one's the most
I
brave,
assumed
and they give you the
Zaki would
highest
always
odds.
be the same.
Nah, it's bravery. There's bravery lines. Trust me. True. Run it through Rando, run it through your computations. Tell me how many variations of an Azaki payout can we get? Get the floppy disk in. I have no idea what I mean. I had some just like clean wins in my my unit scooper. I'm still going to keep a couple. I'm keeping Melbourne. Real brave. Actually, fuck it. No, that's just weak. I am basically going try scorers. I'm just going to go 4 or 5. I've got AJ and Huddy Young. I like them in there. And then for Melbourne, who'd you say was the value there, Ando? No,
Melbourne.
you said fucking Queensland guy. Gross. I'm going Katoa. Going to second rower. And I'm going to throw in one more. And it's going to be Herbie. I like Herbie. I'm going to jump on the train and it's going to crash. Under Siege 2, hell of a movie. That's set on a train, in case you haven't seen it. It's the same model from the first one, where it was set on a ship. This one's on a train. So my Under Siege 2 bet is AJ, Hudson Young, Katoa, Herbie Farnworth, 1983. Don't mind it. I really don't mind it. 2 back rowers, 2 wingers. Got there in the end. That's the unit scoops. Now, don't follow me, but also follow me. But don't follow me because I've had 2 amazing weeks in a row. So I'm due for a train crash, a shovel at some point. Now, do we know whose turn it is in the hot seat?
It's Guru's turn.
It's Guru's turn.
I just lost.
He just lost.
Well, then it is Tom.
It's Tom. Well, so obviously Tom and Eddie aren't here. They're enjoying a much not deserved break. So I guess the hot seat will be on socials or something like that. Is that all we got to do as hosts of this thing? Do I have to do anything else? Obviously, got to thank Neds. Thank you, Neds. We love you, Neds. If you're going to have a punt, do it with Neds. Join the About Even group where we share a lot of bets. You can see our profiles, copy our profiles with our bets there. But other than that, what else have I got to do, Tobler? That's it.
That's it.
Just sign everyone off.
Sign
Follow
everyone
Rando.
off, yeah.
I'll do the whole. There's Patreons either side of me.
yeah.
The Roo Crew. And is yours just random stats guy?
Yeah, very boring.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, follow Hackers Golf Club obviously as well. And that's basically it. Enjoy your punting. Do it responsibly. And see you next week.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website